What's going on, Flock? Welcome back to the channel and another episode of Flock Files. Today, before we dive into the actual video, which is going to be a series that I'm going to start leading up into the draft, where I'm going to break down my top 5 guys from every position of need that I think the Ravens need to target, and kind of go through their strengths and weaknesses and how I feel they fit into our system and what excites me about them. But before we get into that, I would just like to bring up the Declan Doyle podcast on the lounge. I just got around to listening to it. I know it came out the other day, maybe yesterday. But, is it September yet? Like, the way his demeanor is, the way he answers questions, the way he seems ultra focused. Again, I've said many times, and I'll continue to admit it, I was a hater of this hire in the beginning. Not necessarily a hater of the hire, but I was a hater in the process. He was not my number one offensive coordinator that I wanted. But he really ties in kind of some of the things that I've said. And one of the biggest things is he touched on his age. Garrett asked him, you're going to get a lot of questions about your age being 29 and already being an OC. How do you respond to that? And one of his answers was, I actually think that's a benefit. I think that because I'm the same age as these players and I've gone through life in the same steps that they have as far as we grew up and we're the same ages around the same times, I should actually be able to connect with these players more than some of the coaches that are 20, 30 years older than them. And going through the last couple weeks and months, that's kind of one of the things I brought up during the coaching hire process, that I think younger is better, and I think that plays almost a bigger role than having the X and O's down pat. So I think his connection with the players and the connection between the players and Minter are going to be awesome, as well as Weaver. And I'm just very excited after listening to everything that he said. He constantly brought up that he wants to call plays to players' strengths rather than creating an offense and then telling the players, hey, well, too bad, this is the offense, you have to have the ability to do X, Y, and Z. No, he's going to create the offense around the talent that he has. He's not going to make a receiver who shows that he can't block a linebacker go block a linebacker on a play just because, you have to get it done. He's going to put that player in the position to do what he does best, and I think that's awesome. I'm super intrigued and super excited now. I cannot wait for the rest of this offseason to see who we go target. Free agency's coming up. A lot of great things are coming up, and I just can't wait for September. I think this season is, it can go really bad, it can go really good, but, man, there's a lot of daydreaming going on, and I think it's going to go really good. I'm excited. But anyways, today we're diving into my top 5 wide receivers that the Ravens should be watching heading into the 2026 NFL Draft. These are players who I think could fit what Declan Doyle wants to build in Baltimore, and who I think in order. So these are my top 5, but they're also in order who I think they should go for first, and then who they can target, second, third, and then later rounds. They're not going by rounds; they're just going by top 5. What I think. Number 1. In my videos in the past and some of my tweets, I've kind of been all for Jordyn Tyson. I love Jordyn Tyson. He is on this list, but because of his injuries, I just had to be smart and I had to put Carnell Tate number 1. I think he's the number 1 guy you go get in this draft. He is 6'3", 195 pounds. If you're looking for polish, separation, and vertical upside, that's what Carnell Tate does the best. I think he wins with his agility and smooth body control. He has clean route tempo and overwhelms the corners. He has elite ball tracking downfield, and his high point timing makes him super dangerous in the red zone. He's incredibly efficient with his movement. He has no wasted motions. He slips press, stacks corners vertically, and works back to the football to eliminate defender angles. The concerns that I have for him is that he doesn't have a completely dominant wide receiver 1 frame. Long press corners can disrupt him early, and he missed time in 2025 with a calf strain. So, coming in with linger injuries, that's always something that's scary. You don't, especially strains, you don't know how if that muscle is ever going to fully heal again, if it's going to be a constant nagging issue throughout his career that's going to keep him sidelined. But as far as the Ravens fit, I think Tate would thrive in, a play action heavy system with Lamar working outside of the pocket. He's a separator, and this offense needs separation really badly. I feel like that's one of the bigger problems, is that our wide receivers just can't get open on a lot of plays. Coming in at number 2 is my guy, Jordyn Tyson. He's 6'2" at 200 pounds. If we take him in the first round, if Tate's not there, these two guys can go either way. You can swap them. I'd be okay taking either one of them. But, for the sake of he has more injuries in his past, I'm putting Tyson at number 2. The good thing about Jordyn Tyson is that he can play all 3 wide receiver positions. He can manipulate leverage with smooth stems. He wins contested catches, and he also contributes as a blocker, which is going to be big, especially, the Ravens are going to maintain some identity with the strong run game and Derrick Henry. You got to have receivers out there that are willing to block. He has been coached by former NFL receiver Hines Ward, and you kind of see that in his physical mindset. And then the biggest concerns are obviously his injuries. He's had knee injuries, collarbone issues, hamstring, and he missed games every season since 2022, which is concerning. I do think he fits in this Ravens system that we're trying to build. When he's healthy, he has high IQ, he's a chain mover, and he's going to fit in Doyle's multiple philosophy perfectly. Coming in at number 3, we have Denzel Boston. He's 6'4" and 210 pounds. Boston brings something that Baltimore doesn't consistently have, and that's size dominance. We haven't had size, if you've noticed, through these first 3 receivers, and you're going to notice about the next 2. Everyone on my list is a big body receiver, over 6 foot. I'm tired of the small guys. I've said it in many videos. I'm just sick of them. Zay Flowers is awesome, cool. I've been vocal about bringing back Hollywood Brown, who's closer to 6 feet. Supposedly he's grown in the NFL 2 inches, so he's pushing 6 feet now. I just think it would be fun to reunite him with his best friend, but if he doesn't come back, that's fine. No more small wide receivers. I don't care how fast they are. I don't care how crisp they are. I don't care how well they run the route tree. We need a big-bodied superstar or superstar incoming possession receiver for the red zone and for third downs. Essentially, we need a younger DeAndre Hopkins, because these small guys, I'm not about it. With that being said, he has had 20 touchdowns over 2 seasons. He has a massive catch radius and elite hand strength. He plays like a red zone weapon. And then some of his weaknesses, his linear releases against press are sometimes slow. He does lack top-end speed, so he's not going to, dust anyone. And then his separation narrows late in routes. So we would have to either develop that or, Lamar has to throw quick early in the route. He fits in this Ravens offense that we're trying to build because I think he's a true red zone mismatch for Lamar. I think Boston is very, very interesting in those red zone situations. And that's something that we're missing. Mark Andrews is usually Lamar's target in the red zone. But let's add another one. Coming in at number 4 on my list is Elijah Sarratt. He is 6'2" and 215 pounds. Sarratt is the craftsman of the group. He's another guy that's not going to have top-end speed. He's not going to burn anybody. However, he runs very controlled routes. He has late separation. He's very tough through contact, and he's had so many clutch moments throughout his young career. He's had so many game-winning touchdowns in hostile environments, and I think that really just shows his mentality. Some of the limitations, as I said before, he does lack that explosive speed. He may project more as a power slot, depending on his testing numbers. Obviously, the combine could change a lot of this for all these guys. I think some of those measurables on that one day of the combine are also something that's super overrated. You gotta look at what he's done in college over years, not one day at a combine. But Elijah Sarratt's another guy that, possession receiver, red zone receiver. He can kind of do it all, but he's not going to burn anybody. He's not going to have too many breakaway big plays as far as, 40-yard bombs, take it to the house, 60-yard bombs, take it to the house. That's not really his role. That's not what he does. But on 3rd and 9, when you need that first down, his route running in his hands, you throw it anywhere near him, he's going to come down with it. I think he's a Ravens fit because he's a reliable possession receiver. Again, he converts 3rd downs and scores touchdowns. And this is the type of player that playoff teams rely on. And then last but not least, honestly, I think might be my favorite. We would get him later in the draft. I think he's a sneaky pick. Ted Hurst from Georgia State. He is 6'3" at 195 pounds. He's definitely needs some development. He has developmental upside. He has a very explosive first step. His vertical stacking ability is amazing. And he has very strong downfield tracking of the ball. But with that comes some negatives, and whenever they play press coverage against him, it completely disrupts him. He needs to learn how to have a stronger release package, and concentration drops do show up on tape with him. I think if Baltimore believes in their coaching staff that they've just brought in, and they're willing to have somebody that will play next year but not be super dominant. Again, if we take one of these early guys or we sign someone in free agency, we can still go get him, just knowing that he is going to be a project. I think he could grow into a surreal boundary threat in this league. So he's someone who really interests me. I really like his tape a lot. Final thoughts before wrapping up the video today. In my eyes, who makes the most sense for Baltimore? Just depends on what they want. If they want separation, they go Carnell Tate. If they want versatility, they go Jordyn Tyson. If they want sheer size, they go Denzel Boston. If they want the reliability factor, which is the best factor, they go Elijah Sarratt. And if they want the most upside, but also the most unknown, they go Ted Hurst. I think the bigger question in this is, what does Declan Doyle want his offense to become? And I know in that interview that he did on the lounge, explosive plays is something he really kept expressing. So I don't know who they're going to target. I don't even know if they're going to target any of these guys. Maybe they don't go get a receiver at all. I think we need one, at least one, whether it's a project or I think we need a day one starter, honestly. I don't know if they take 2 receivers in the draft. If they do take 2 receivers in the draft, then Ted Hurst needs to be one of them, being that he's somebody that you can work with long-term and develop. And then you go get, a Carnell Tate, Jordyn Tyson, Denzel Boston, or Elijah Sarratt, as that's going to be a day one starter. Obviously, they still need development too and learning the pros and some tweaks to their game, but those guys are going to come in and start day one.